Workerman.
Real takes over fake debates, authentic truth. Can't underestimate SB and Sean, breaking through the noise, serving real talk, the genuine choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes, just sports passion fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
And we are live. SB Talk Sports, Sean Webb, Real Takes Over Fake Debates, sponsored by Swift Energy. Go to swiftenergy.gg. Use code RTOFD to get 20% off your order. Sean, it is Friday. How are you feeling today, brother?
Feeling good, SB. We got MLB divisional round starting this weekend. Got WNBA playoffs going on. We got getting into the heart of NFL season. So yeah, man, it's a good month. Good month for sports, man. How you doing though, man?
Oh no, I'm good, man. Can't complain. You got a lot of things going on with sports. I see you with that Yankee head on. The Yankees doing good. I see Gideon G Money in the chat. I see Tiffany in the chat. Salute. I see my boy Nickel in the TikTok chat. He say Lonzo Ball is healthy. Yes, Lonzo Ball is. I see all y'all in the TikTok chat too. Make sure y'all get us to 1,000 likes in the TikTok chat too. Keep hitting that heart. The more you hit that heart, the more people come in the chat. And if y'all comment, y'all will engage. We got a lot of things going on. If you guys on the YouTube and everybody, I would salute everybody on the audio platform. If you guys looking on TikTok, y'all, or YouTube, y'all see the thumbnail with everything we're going to talk about. We got Kirk Cousins to talk about. We got LeBron and Bronny to talk about. We got Devontae Adams, obviously, with the trade rumors. But we also got his teammate Max Crosby to talk about, too. So, Sean, we have a lot of things to talk about, but let's go ahead and get into Thursday's night game. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Buccaneers. And you know Mr. Icy, Mr. Kirko Chainz. Won in overtime versus the Falcons. What was your reaction to this Thursday night game? It was exciting. I was at work, so I was like on and off, in and out, watching the game a little bit, but very exciting game. Did you get a chance to see the game, and what was your reaction to it?
I did. I watched the entire game. First of all, probably the best Thursday night game of the season, easily. Both teams really came out, moved the ball up and down the field very well. But second half, it came down to, just a few plays in terms of execution. Falcons, definitely had some moments late in the fourth quarter where you thought, okay, they're probably not going to win this game. But all it took was one play and one big play by their defense. And, You know, their safeties, you know, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, man, those guys are around the ball. They forced the fumble, were able to force the fumble, get the ball back, drive down, and obviously get a field goal to tie the game, and then take it into overtime, get the ball first. And with the new rules, obviously, if you score a touchdown in overtime in the regular season, you know, that's game. And they were able to do that. So, you know, it was all about just finding a way to win. Thursday night games are not easy on these teams at all. When you think about it, again, you just played the previous Sunday. So you really don't get a lot. You don't get a full week of practice, obviously. And then if you're the team that has to travel, even if it's a short trip, you know, it's not an easy game. So, but both teams came out, you know, firing and trying to make it happen. But, you know, Kirk Cousins obviously was tremendous, particularly in the second. Well, I mean, even in the first half, I mean, he had 250 yards, I think, in the first half. And, you know, they really took advantage of, I think, the Bucks being very aggressive defensively. And, you know, and obviously, you know, injuries and things factor into the game, certainly. But, you know, the Falcons, you know, found a way to win. And again, there were miscues by the Falcons. They had a blocked field goal. They had a missed field goal from their kicker, who was perfect on the season before last night. They had a drop.
Young Hoku.
Yeah, Young Wei Koo. Yep. And you know, and we come on the field, you don't know if they're saying "koo" or "boo," but they're usually saying "koo." But you know, he was really good last night. You know, when they needed him to come through, and you know, when the Falcons drafted Drake London, I just want to say this real quick. I think they saw a Mike Evans type of receiver, size, you know, really good speed.
I can agree with that.
You know, and he put on a show last night.
Yes.
You know, and Kyle Pitts, who didn't have a catch on Sunday against the Saints, had his best game of the season as well. And you know, and it was really, you know, they really did a good job of spreading the ball around. The Bucks took away the run game. You know, didn't allow them to, you know, Bijan hit a couple of nice runs. I know he had a 29-yard run late in the game, but you know, it was one of those games where, again, it got to the point where just find a way to win. And the Falcons were able to do that. So, you know, shout out to them for figuring that out and getting a big win on Thursday night.
Yeah, shout out. So besides running backs, I'm a big tight end guy. So I'm so happy for Kyle Pitts to finally get a quarterback who can actually give him the ball. So every time I see Kyle Pitts ball out, because I think Kyle Pitts can be one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Obviously, though, his career, the talent-wise, let me say talent-wise. I know people are going to look at me crazy like Kyle Pitts ain't done nothing since he's been in the league. Talent-wise, he could be one of the greatest tight ends of all time. So to actually see him to get utilized, it warms my heart. But from the interaction that I seen at this game when I was watching it like on and off, when I was running back and forth to the screen, it was nonstop, action-packed, good game. Kirk Cousins threw for like 500-plus yards. He had one interception. That interception came late in the game when he was like trying to get back in the game and win the game. But besides that interception, it was like he had a great game. And I know we've been arguing with Kirk Cousins about can he be the guy? You know, me and you both are high on Michael Penix Jr. But Kirk Cousins had that last drive and to go down and win in overtime, he might be the guy. And shout out to the coaching staff of Atlanta to make his job as easier. And that defense, especially that secondary, people got to start putting respect on, because I wouldn't want to play the Falcons in the first round, or especially with home field advantage. I wouldn't want to go to Atlanta and play in that dome and play that team, Sean.
Well, I think two things about the Falcons. One, they don't really have a good pass rush, consistent pass rush. I think they're last in the league in pass rush percentage win rate. So they don't necessarily get a pass rush. So they put a lot of pressure on their secondary because they don't necessarily get, you know, a great consistent pass rush. I think that's still a work in progress for them, certainly. But, you know, to your point about, you know, Kirk Cousins, I mean, I think, again, what we talked about with Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins generally put up really good numbers. He put up really good stats in Washington and in Minnesota, we know. But when you had those games that you needed to win, could he come through? Would he come through and, you know, help lead that team to win? Now, again, it's not just all on the quarterback. We certainly know that. But last night, was one of those games where you're like, okay, this is why, they bring in Kirk Cousins. Can you sustain that throughout the season? Because again, I think they are going to be one of those teams that is going to have to try to outscore teams, at points during the season, but come playoff time. And again, I have them as a playoff team. I don't remember if you picked them as a playoff team, SB, but I picked them to win the division.
We can look at our picks right now.
Yeah, I think again, you're likely going to if you're obviously win the division, you host a playoff game. Can he win the playoff game? Can he lead them to a playoff win? And obviously take them to the next round, because I think they expect to be a playoff team in Atlanta, just with the talent, but also with the pieces that they have offensively that can again show you when they get an opportunity, those guys can go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they expect. They expect to be very much a playoff team.
For my predictions, you had Atlanta winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
I had Tampa Bay winning the division. So you definitely had Atlanta as a playoff team. But re-looking back at it, only thing I do regret for my predictions is the Minnesota Vikings. I was not familiar with your game. I'm still cool, even though the Commanders is hot right now. I'm still cool with putting the Commanders at third. I'm still cool with that. I can see the Falcons being a wild card team, or if not winning the division. So I'm not even tripping on putting them second. For you, what about your side? Like, is there anything like re-looking at it now? Is there anything that you might like regret putting or no?
I mean, obviously the Vikings, because I don't think any of us expected the Vikings to do what they're doing so far. But yeah, I would say that those would be probably my only two. My big one is Minnesota, honestly.
Yeah. Nickel in the TikTok chat said Minnesota is hot. And he also said Kirk Cousins is another Phillip Rivers. I mean, being a Phillip Rivers ain't bad, brother. I'm not going to even lie to you, because Phillip Rivers definitely put up numbers. I could be saying I'm bad as a Charger. But also, for me and Sean, just give us the benefit of the doubt. We thought JJ was going to start. And JJ got hurt by the time he made our predictions. So we were just thinking, as a rookie quarterback, we couldn't trust him enough with everything else that's going on in the division. Because even like Sean, do you regret putting the Packers win the division over the Lions?
No.
Oh, yeah, stick with that. I'm still sticking with Detroit, and especially what we're gonna talk about later with Detroit. If they were able to pull this move off, what I think they're gonna pull off is gonna be crazy. He did throw for 500 yards. Sorry for the little skip. If I skipped, sorry about that. Mr. Kirko Chainz threw for 500 yards. Is it time to put respect on Kirk Cousins, Kirko Chainz's name? Can he lead Atlanta to where they want to go, Sean?
I think what Kirk Cousins can do is be what they haven't really had in the last 3 years, is consistent quarterback play. They haven't really had that since Matt Ryan was gone. And again, for him to set, a franchise record last night, on the night Matt Ryan goes into the Ring of Honor in Atlanta, was obviously, pretty crazy. But also, I don't know if you saw the young man that caught the game-winning touchdown.
Hodges.
Hodge. Yeah, he was doing his post-game, kind of talk. They're talking to him, and he's thanking God and things like that. And right behind him in the stands, somebody's getting that work. So it was definitely kind of one of those, like, yeah, that's Atlanta.
That's Atlanta.
But anyway, anyway, but no, the point was, yeah, Kirk, I mean, he was tremendous last night. And, and again, this is why, they gave him $100 million guaranteed. They believe that he can, again, make them a contender in the NFC and definitely to win the division. And, and again, be one of those teams that can compete with, some of the top tier teams in the NFC.
FC Robert wanted to know, was the pass record held by Matt Ryan or something? Now that team when it comes to Atlanta, it was Matt Ryan.
It was Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had the record.
I think Matt Ryan probably got, besides rushing yards as a quarterback, I believe Matt Ryan probably got every quarterback record as Atlanta Matty Ice does. Shout out Matty Ice. For me, what was the Atlanta moment for me? That's Atlanta. Because I did see that moment that you're talking about. Like he was saying, thank God, everything real. Somebody was getting them hands in the background. That is Atlanta. But to get Kirk Cousins to do the swag surf and for him to be so, imagine, swag surf is an old song, but it's timeless. It's in that like timeless bracket because it's the song is good, but also the wave of the song and the swag of the song, which is no pun intended, because swag surfing, anybody can do the dance. So obviously, the people who was not black, I should say, because we just naturally born with rhythm. 98.9% of us are born in rhythm. We got that 1% who ain't. But everybody can do the dance. But for him to be like so astonished by it and seeing it like, bro, this is like crazy. That was my most Atlanta moment, where Atlanta can make somebody who's out of the culture, not a part of it, see this and be like, bro, I need to be a part of it. This is crazy. This is the most spectacular thing I've seen in life. That was like, that's Atlanta. But when everybody wants to be a part of it, everybody like feel the wave, feel the vibe is good. And you got the whole, imagine you just won a game, throw for 500 yards, and then at the crowd celebrating, but you see the crowd going in sync side to side and it looked like a crazy wave. I know that probably was like something spectacular to see it all. He said Swag Surf's up there with Mo Bamba. I'm gonna put Swag Surfing over Mo Bamba. I'm not gonna lie. Mo Bamba kind of got resurfaced because of NCAA, the game. Swag Surfer has stood the test of time. No video game, no other pushback, nothing. It was just the song. Mo Bamba had his wave, and it was the like Sean. It's the video game that just brought that back up.
And I would say with Swag Surf, obviously, you talk about Swag Surf. Obviously, we know the original artist. Fly did Swag Surfing, blah blah blah. But the No Ceilings mixtape, Lil Wayne's mixtape, which is 15 years old this month. That's the first song on the mixtape. So that help keeps it, in the public sphere, if you will. But I think again, it was such an exciting moment for that team and for that that audience that crowd that came out to watch the game. And if you've never been to a game in Atlanta, and I'm going to say nothing against the new Georgia Dome, because the new Georgia Dome is beautiful. It's a beautiful stadium. But the old dome used to rock just like that, particularly when number 7 was there. And if you don't know who number 7 is, that's Michael Vick. But
Big Vic.
it used to rock just like that. So last night was kind of reminiscent to me of them being in the old Georgia Dome, and again how it used to, how you used to rock back in the day. So
also was another person who used to rock that same Georgia Dome who built it originally, the best DB of all time, in my opinion.
Corner.
I mean, I've been like defensive back. I ain't on that side of the ball.
He's the best DB of all time. But the best, maybe the best corner of all time.
Who you got as the best DB then?
Ed Reed.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not mad at that because you got to respect Ed. Ed was that deal. Ed was that deal. Ed was that deal. I'm not even arguing that. I thought you were going to say somebody else, but I'm cool with that. Sean, also, only because I've seen it, it's a guy who played on the Bills, and I'm forgetting his name, but he was like, he was the only wide receiver who could cook. He cooked Revis. He cooked Prime Ramsey. He played for the Bills. Stevie. What's his name? Was it Stevie Johnson?
Stevie Johnson, yeah.
Stevie, bro, I was not familiar with, bro. I know of Stevie, but I didn't realize Stevie was that deal. I wouldn't mind one of these shows. You got to do a history lesson. I wouldn't mind Stevie on the show too. You got to do a history lesson on Stevie because it was just randomly came down my TikTok feed yesterday, and I was just like, bro, how did I miss this? Especially in the AFC, and I'm just like, I don't know. Stevie Johnson probably might be one of the most underrated receivers of all time. It's shot. I wouldn't mind a history lesson on him. But speaking of receivers, Sean, Devontae Adams obviously asked for a trade or preferred a trade, but you know how people want to put it. He put a lot of teams on the list, which we're going to talk about that, what the teams he put on the list. But something came to my feed and people sent it to me that if this move was to happen, Sean, I got them making the Super Bowl. This team was just an NFC championship game last year. They came up short in the second half. It's the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions is possibly cooking up a way to get Devontae Adams and Max Crosby. They've been calling about Max Crosby for a while. And they just want to knock two birds out with one stone by getting Devontae Adams and Max Crosby, which would be crazy. So you got Jameson Williams, St. Brown, Adams. But what is most dangerous would be Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby both rushing at quarterback. And from what I'm seeing from the report where it might be, and that's why I was like, I told you when I sent you the picture of it, I had to do my research on it to make sure it's true. No, it's fuel to the fire because obviously it's trade rumors. The trade could possibly have multiple picks and backup quarterback Hayden Hooker in this trade because obviously they want a young quarterback. I'm sorry, Sean. If this trade is on the table, I give you a first and a second and Hayden Hooker, and I'll take Devontae Adams and multiple picks, and I'll renegotiate contracts that make that money work because this is a Super Bowl right now move. And I will have, if this move was to happen, Sean, I got the Lions easily. And I'm going to say easily making it to the Super Bowl.
So, SB, I'll tell you this just right now. You got a better chance of seeing Tiger Woods hook up with a black woman than this trade happening.
You wild.
I
mean, low key, publicly with a black woman, that might be there. But low key, Tiger might do his thing.
No, he doesn't. No. So a couple things. So obviously when players become available, or teams, looks like teams are trying to trade players, teams will call and make inquiries all the time, right? Again,
yes.
You have an injury at quarterback, a team will call the Chiefs, hey, any interest in trading Patrick Mahomes? It happens, right? That's the nature of the business. The Raiders, I don't think necessarily are trying to trade Max Crosby. They like Max Crosby. Max Crosby obviously is really, honestly, when you think about it, the face of their team. And in Las Vegas, you can't necessarily be irrelevant because, again, it's Vegas, And while the Raiders have a huge fan base, they don't necessarily want to tank. And also, let's remember, the Raiders are still right there. They're 2-2. So it's not like they're, having a terrible season in terms of record. Like, it's just, they are still right there in the AFC West and could be, again, right there in the AFC West wild card conversation if, they are able to, find a way to string together a winning streak. I think the big thing with this team is, obviously you got to check the market, right? What's the market for Max Crosby? What's the market for Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams seems like, again, as we talked about the other day, is likely to move, but it's not going to be an easy thing for the reasons why we mentioned in the video we did the other day. Again, what's the compensation? Is it conditional compensation? Because, again, Devontae Adams doesn't, does he get an opportunity to work out a new contract and deal with the team he's traded to before he's traded? All of these things factor in. So this isn't necessarily going to be, an easy overnight process. Again, this has been a few days since this was announced, and he's still on the Raiders. So, this is not going to be seamless by any stretch of the imagination.
For me, it's never going to be seamless. But when you have an opportunity to take your team to the next level and you that close, and you've been a team like Detroit, because I got a couple guys that I know from Detroit, a guy named Sean and my boy Cam, who I work with, originally from Michigan, and the other guy, both from Michigan. And I told him, like, bro, the Lions was trash my whole life. I'm 31 years old. I have never seen the Lions be good. This is like out of the matrix for me right now to see them like being like a legit team. I done seen them have talent on the team where it'd be like, Oh man, Matthew Stafford, crazy arm. Calvin Johnson, he's nice. You got the talent, but to them to actually be good and competitive is like crazy to me right now. So if I'm a team like the Lions, you go all in. And as much as that the Lions fans have lost, they will probably appreciate you going all in to compete. So whatever the asking price is right now for Devontae Adams and Max Crosby, especially if it's about draft compensation, you do it. First, I'll do a first and a second, and Hayden Hooker, and whatever other way to make the money match or remove contracts to make the money match, I'll do it at all. Only thing that'll stop me from with the Adams, if Adam just adamant that he don't want to play for Detroit, and I'll be like, cool. What do y'all? I'll just go for Crosby. I'll give a first up for Crosby and Hayden Hooker right now, and you can just give me whoever your backup is on the Raiders. Your backup, that's fine. I'll take them, and you got to make that happen.
And again, if you're the Raiders, again, this is not a slight to Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker was a really solid, talented quarterback at Tennessee, and obviously the Lions, took him, thinking he had potential to, become their starting quarterback down the line. Obviously now they've paid Jared Goff, so maybe there's not a future as a starter for Hendon Hooker in Detroit long term. But also, if you're Detroit, the teams that obviously we look at teams in the last few years, you better have a quality backup. Because again, one play and Jared Goff could be gone. And I'm certainly not wishing that on Jared Goff, but that is just the nature of the beast. So and we're going to talk about a situation in a little bit about, quarterbacks and why having a good backup is important. But I think if you're Detroit, obviously the reason why you're interested in Max Crosby is because the Marcus Davenport acquisition hasn't worked out, and you thought that acquisition was going to be the compliment you needed for Aiden Hutchinson, and it's again not worked out because surprisingly Marcus Davenport isn't healthy, and I can say that because as a Saints fan, I know Marcus Davenport is never healthy. So the bottom line is, this is why you're interested in Max Crosby. Devontae Adams, again, every team is going to be interested in Devontae Adams because it's Devontae Adams, right? Yep. It's Devontae Adams. So I think, so I think, again, the Lions are making inquiries just like every team are making inquiries, but certainly, it makes news because it's the Lions and everybody views the Lions as a potential Super Bowl contender this season.
I want to address a couple comments on the TikTok side and YouTube. Tiffany said, is Devontae Adams going to the Ravens? Tiffany, we're going to talk about that right in 1 second. MC Roberts said the Lions were cursed for years. Yes, they was. And James said, Lord, please don't send them to the Jets. Honestly, the Jets somehow on the list. Then we got Charles Everly in the TikTok chat. He said, is Devontae Adams going to the Lions? I can't 100% say so because the Lions are interested in him. And he asked why is Devontae Adams going to the Lions? He's going to have to split his touches between 18 dudes. I can answer that in 1 second. And also, shout out Player's Choice in the TikTok chat. They said WSB, W Sean. Salute y'all. Salute Player's Choice. Shout out PC. Sean, I want to answer this from Charles. He said, why is Devontae Adams going to the Lions? He's going to split his touches between 18 dudes because he wants to win. That's my answer. Clear, simple as that. He wants to win. I can't think of nothing else to that situation that he wants to win. What can you attest to it, Sean?
Yeah, he wants to win. I mean, that's it. He's been very clear that at his age, he understands he doesn't have 10 years left on his career. He wants a chance to win a Super Bowl, which is why teams like the Lions, like the Ravens, these teams are looking at Devontae Adams because, again, they believe they are right there on the doorstep of winning or getting to a Super Bowl and winning. So that's the only reason. It's just about winning for him at this point. And, but I do think he does want some stability. And again, the quarterback situation needs to be stable wherever he goes. The coaching situation needs to be stable. I think just the organization needs to be stable. He left a stable organization in Green Bay to go to Vegas to play, for the Raiders, part because his college quarterback was there and things didn't work out. They ended up cutting Derek Carr, and we know where Derek Carr ended up. But I think what he wants is some stability, but mainly he wants a chance to win because he's 32 years old and again doesn't have much time left.
Yeah. And Go Jay said, I will argue Montgomery is more important than him and the second running back. That's Gibbs. Jameer Gibbs, but Goff kind of did turn the team around. 100%. Goff did turn the team around because Goff is a solid quarterback. People don't want to get Goff credit. People forget that Goff led the Rams. At the end of the day, no matter how valuable or to say not value was, he was the starting quarterback. He led the team to a Super Bowl. That's a fact.
And I think Jared Goff does deserve his just due for what he was able to do when he was really considered a throwaway in the Matthew Stafford trade. What turned the Lions around was they brought in Brad Holmes and they brought in Dan Campbell, and they had really good drafts back to back. And they started building a foundation and started building an identity for what they wanted that team to be. And they brought in players who fit that identity. They want to play tough. They want to beat you up and down the field. They want to beat you in the trenches. That is their identity. And we saw that last year really take hold because obviously they got to the NFC Championship and had a great chance to win that game in San Francisco, if we're being honest. But, Jared Goff was a big part of, hey, you know what? Listen, we understand you were cast away, but you come here. We're going to build it. We're going to build something special, be a part of it. And he's been a part of it. And to his credit, he's done really well. Obviously, he hadn't won a Super Bowl, but he's done really well in the time that he's been there.
I definitely have to agree. They done really well. Is Jared Goff better than Josh Allen? No. They can answer that real quick. I think he done really well. And also, I do have to agree, Go James, that the two running backs is the real dynamic of them. But also, speaking of Devontae Adams, number one and number two destinations. And I truly, honestly believe, Sean, that your Saints is his number one destination. Devontae Adams really enjoyed playing with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is his guy. So Devontae Adams wants to play with Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr. That's his number one, number two destination. How would you feel getting him on your Saints? And honestly, what would be the better fit for Devontae Adams? The Jets with Rodgers or the Saints with Carr?
I feel really nothing, SB, because I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be shocked if it happened. First, there's a cap situation that has to be cleared up. Saints don't have a lot of cap space. Saints did make a quiet move today, getting rid of A.T. Perry, young receiver. A.T. Perry happened to wear number 17, so it started a lot of stuff online about, Saints are going to get Devontae Adams. Let's just chill, all right? Let's just chill. That's first. And again, I think it's going to come down to what is the Raiders' asking price and what teams are really trying to give up, not just in compensation to the other team, but in compensation to Devontae Adams. Because again, Devontae Adams doesn't have any guaranteed money left on his deal after this season. That's an issue for him. He's going to want to get that squared away. So, my belief is the Jets are the favorite, but I think the Ravens are right there as well. That's just my really looking at the landscape, that I think those are the two teams that got a realistic chance at making it happen.
When you got a guy of the caliber of Devontae Adams, still a top 5 receiver in the league, you make it happen. And when he says a team, and I beg for the Chargers, but I know Devontae Adams low-key got beef with my Chargers. That's a different story for a different day. You make it happen, because if he would have came out and said, yeah, I want to play with Justin Herbert or Aaron Rodgers, I don't care what our cap situation with the Chargers is, you make it happen. Even Justin Herbert, if you got to take a pay cut, you make it happen to get this player on your team. So I want the Saints to do that, even though I still feel like to this day, Alvin Kamara is the most valuable player y'all got on the offensive side of the ball. Even with the Jets, with Aaron Rodgers, I know you got different receivers. I know everybody like Garrett Wilson. But even though he was injured, I still think Breece Hall is the most valuable guy on that offensive side. And I think once he get way more established and they get him like playing like a Bijan or Alvin Kamara or Saquon Barkley, I think the Jets would be 2 times better than what they are right now. That's why we haven't seen their full potential, because their running game needs to get elite, not established, elite. And you got a player of the talent who can be elite. But when you add a guy like Devontae Adams, that helps their job easy, because he's such a threat and dynamic where he can catch it anywhere on the field. But for me, between the two, I don't know. It's hard. I think it's 50-50 either one, because I feel like with the divisions, both of them teams got threats in their division. So even if you add Devontae Adams, the Jets still, even though Miami out the way, you still got to answer to the Bills. And the Bills is a threat. Even with the Saints, you got to answer to the Bucks and the Falcons. So it's like, if you add Devontae Adams to either one of them teams, I can't honestly say you just push, adding Devontae Adams just push the Saints over the Falcons and the Buccaneers. And I can't just say adding Devontae Adams just push him over the Buffalo Bills. And luckily Tua ain't healthy, because I wouldn't have put them over them. But I'm gonna say only because Tua hurt, I think the Jets is a better situation too. Now, for Tiffany's sake, because Tiffany asked the question, let me find this comment right here. Is Devontae Adams going to her Ravens? Well, Devontae Adams had a cryptic post on his IG. And Sean, I'm going to either say this. Devontae Adams is either a big Edgar Allan Poe fan, or he dropping hints that he joined the Ravens. If you don't know about Edgar Allan Poe, he wrote The Raven. Ha ha ha, pun intended. You ever seen the thing when you watch a TV show and they say the title of the show? It was one of them IG posts. He just said the title of the team. What do you have to say about this cryptic post? Do you think he's saying, hey, I want to join the Ravens, or hey, I'm going to the Ravens, or he just a fan of Edgar Allan Poe?
I mean, I don't read into cryptic. You know, it's like trying to read the mind of a woman. Like, just say what you want. Just say what you mean. Like, anybody got time for that? You know, again, there were several teams that were mentioned that he would be interested in. The Ravens were one of those teams, just like the Saints and the Jets and the Steelers. And so at this point, until something happens, or until there's a real deal on the table, all the cryptic stuff, all the LeBron sub tweeting and all that, I don't care about that. Let's figure out where he's going to go. And once we know where he's going to go, let's figure out how he's going to fit, and what ultimately that team can be with him, legitimately once he gets there. But this does not move me.
Go said Tyreek was ranked the best player by poll. It looked like he might have a dramatic drop off in the rankings by end of the year. I mean, his quarterback out. When the wide receiver you defend on the quarterback, you cook. And I want to bring up Tiffany comment, Raven fan of the show. She said the Ravens owe Lamar Jackson number one receiver. I know it's been a thing that Lamar Jackson never had a number one receiver, which is true, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They got to do their job.
And I will say this: this is traditionally how the Ravens do acquire a number one receiver. You go all the way back to Derrick Mason. That they got Derrick Mason from the Titans. Then you fast forward, you get Anquan Bolden, in the middle from in a trade. Then you fast forward Steve Smith. So this is how they traditionally like to acquire a number one receiver, someone who's a proven veteran who obviously is looking for an opportunity to win. So I think they see that in Devontae Adams, but also again, Zay Flowers will continue to emerge. And I don't think it's so much a number one. I think it's having legit talent on both sides outside of the hash marks that again make it very difficult for defenses to game plan against you.
If they find a way to get Devontae Adams there, it will be such a Raven way to get him. I think him with the Ravens is another big mover, because just for him, Lamar Jackson, to get a guy who can make a play any point in time. And also, Tiffany, I know he had tight end, but he did have a number one option with Mark Andrews can get that ball too. But just for somebody, a true receiver, to get it, I think Devontae Adams would definitely change the game for Lamar Jackson. especially with Derrick Henry in that backfield, because they look total. When they run it down the middle and down team's throat, they look totally different. Now, speaking of another team's quarterback, Sean, and I feel strongly about this topic. The NFL said they will have no role in Tua Tagovailoa's potential return. Obviously, he just went out with a concussion. It was bad this time. It wasn't even DeMar Hamlin hit him. Preston DeMar Hamlin, we went through a scary situation with him, and it's crazy how I'm a very spiritual person. And it's crazy how the way he happened when he went out with DeMar Hamlin, which everything that happened to him, and it wasn't even a hard hit, and his body froze. I have very strong opinion on this, but Sean, I want to hear how you feel about the NFL said they won't have no role into a potential return first before I say what I got to say. How you feel?
So a couple of things, SB. I've heard a lot of folks come out and talk about, and folks close to the league, commentators, others talk about how, this is really Tua's decision. And, it's up to Tua what he decides he wants to do. And the Dolphins and the league are going to respect that. I cannot disagree more. And the reason why I cannot disagree more is because there's something called the integrity of the game. And it's not short term, it's long term. This isn't Tua's first time getting a concussion and going down on the field, right? This has happened multiple times within a 3-year span in just the NFL.
And recorded, by the way, recorded. This was recorded. We don't know off record.
Right. So I think there's if I'm the NFL, and the NFL has talked about needing to protect players and safety of players, and what's the long-term health of the league? Well, the long-term health of the league is to make sure, that you're showing parents of young boys who play football that you as a league will do what you think is in the best interest of that player, even if it means telling a player you can't play in this league anymore. It's bigger than Tua. And I know some people don't want to say it, they shouldn't take his career from him and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes things are taken out of your hands.
Yep. Agreed.
Sometimes things are taken out of your hands. That is the nature of the beast, right? Because, again, SB, when he comes back, and again, presuming he comes back, do you believe if he comes back for the remaining time that he plays in the NFL that he won't get hit?
He gonna get hit.
He is going to get hit. And if he goes down again, then the NFL is going to have a major PR crisis on their hands that I don't think they are necessarily thinking about. So, again, washing your hands of it, NFL, is not the move. And, again, I believe the NFL and the Miami Dolphins and Tua and the medical folks should all be in a room talking about this and really making a major decision. And again, it can't just be the player gets to decide when they come back, because it's bigger than one player. It has to be, right? Guys retire all the time because either they get older or their body just can't take it, or it's just time for them to move on, or they want to avoid long-term damage of football. Right? We've seen it. We've seen guys walk away literally because they said, I don't want to deal with that. I am very concerned about that. And this ain't about Tua the quarterback. This is about Tua the husband, who is a father of young children, and being hopefully viable enough for a very long time to participate in the thing that matters well outside of football. Because last I checked, family comes before football with the dictionary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The NFL is making a terrible decision by not having a role. No, you're supposed to have a role. You're the NFL. You're the league.
No, I 1,000% agree with, because you're not having a role with it, right? If y'all let Tua come back, And then don't let it be nothing dirty behind the scenes where it be like you want Tua to retire and you make Tua sign something to keep playing. And he don't get compensated if he ever get injured again or have another concussion again, because which we know NFL has stuff under the table that happens all the time. But that's a different story for a different day. Because what if Tua plays, gets hurt, and try to sue y'all? Y'all will look bad. What if Tua plays, get permanently paralyzed? That'll make the NFL look bad. God forbid, knock on wood, I pray this never happened because this man has a family. Tua plays, get hit on the field, and lose his life. And mind you, we didn't seen players. People don't want to talk about the history of the NFL. Players done died on that field. Players that got permanently hurt on that field. And this was way back in the day, before media, social media. Do you think the NFL would be able to survive that if Tua was to get permanently damaged on that field? Things are bigger than football. And I don't want to take nobody's career away. I don't want to take nobody's livelihood from their family, but we can all agree that Tua has made enough money where he could be okay. He ain't gonna be able to buy multiple Bugattis, but I guarantee his kids ain't gonna start. You being there and functional is more valuable than you being there disabled, but your kids can buy whatever they want in life. It's not worth it, brother. It's not worth it. You made your impact on football. You was a great player. Your career got cut short. We done seen Calvin Johnson leave early because of injury. We done seen Andrew Luck leave before injuries early. We just seen the Panthers, Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker, live early. Your life, your livelihood, your health is more important in the game of football. And for the NFL to say they will not have a role in this is a piece. We don't curse on our show, but I'm gonna say put bull and add what belongs in the ground, be on grass when you walk your dog to that, because you have everything to do with anything that happens when it comes to the game of football. Everything. And your players' health and safety was on y'all protocol list when y'all said that matters the most. Saying that y'all will not have a role in this is clearly saying y'all don't care. And NFL needs to be held accountable. Now, if you want to say this is a close protocol, we're going to do the safety measures, it's cool. But to just blatantly say we not going to have no role in all this, just I'm disgusted. As a fan of the sport of football, I'm disgusted by that, because I just literally seen this man, Sean. Imagine, sometimes I watch games with my kids. Sometimes I watch the game with my younger cousins and family. How you think my family or little cousins or other people, kids who watch the game, you see a guy on the ground paralyzed like that? That's traumatizing for anybody. Or if I don't have a son yet, or if I got girls, they might play girl sports. If I'm watching the game with my girl and she see a player paralyzed like that, she'll be like, nope, wow. Our kids can't do that. Our kids can't play these sports because there's no safety between that. And the NFL saying what they saying, they choosing money over livelihood, and that's disrespectful, and that's disgusting. I'm disgusted by it, Sean, 100%. And the NFL needs to do better all the way around. All the way around. All the way around. It just needs to do better. This is a life lesson right now to avoid something before the collision happened. And this is going to be a bad collision that happened. This man, Sean, barely got tackled and he got paralyzed. Concussion. Like he got knocked out in a boxing ring. Stiff. And you looking at that and saying that's not a problem, and we just not going to say nothing, Sean? Come on, dog.
Well, SB, I just want to say, I want to say this real quick. My favorite athlete of all time is probably Muhammad Ali. And we know famously Muhammad Ali had 3+ years of his boxing career taken away for, obviously for political reasons and his protesting, being forced to join the army during the Vietnam War. There were signs as early as 1971 that Ali's speech was starting to slow down and starting to slur.
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Ali fought his last fight 10 years later. So another 10 years after the signs were there, he kept fighting. I always believe, and this is, again, my belief, just knowing his career and having watched pretty much every one of his fights, that he should have retired after the thrill in Manila. He should have hung it up. But he kept fighting. Because he's a draw, because he's an athlete, because it's Muhammad Ali, right? The greatest of all time in the minds of many. And in his own mind, because he would tell you that, obviously. Sometimes it has to be taken away from you. Sometimes you don't get to make the decision. And the fact that people keep saying, oh, it should be Tua's call, it should be Tua's call. This is a unique situation because it's happened multiple times. It's not a one-time thing. This has happened multiple times. And I want to put emphasis on the multiple.
In 3 years, Sean. Come on, bro. Like, we not humans. Like, come on, dog.
And again, the next time you may not get to get up and walk off and get a kiss from your coach. Right? You may not. That may very well not be your story. Right? It's not, and it's not for us to say this is your story. No, it's, listen, this has happened. And again, shout out to Dr. Bennett Omalu. And if you don't know who Dr. Bennett Omalu is, Dr. Bennett Omalu is the doctor who the movie Concussion is based on. He did he talked about, he did an interview a few weeks ago and he talked about it. And he said, I have not looked at any of Tua's medicals situation, things like that, but I would press upon him, if I were his family, to consider not playing football anymore. Because again, you don't, we believe we have some sense of the long-term effects of CTE, but it's still very new. And it's still some more things are coming out about it. And I think that's the problem for me is it ain't about Tua at 26. It's about Tua at 56, 66. God willing, 86. So that's the issue.
Come on now.
And I don't want to continue to browbeat this point, but I think, again, the NFL has a responsibility here to step in and say, wait a minute, just because of the uniqueness of this particular player in this particular case, we have to be involved. Miami Dolphins have to be involved. Unbiased medical professionals have to be involved to say, and it can't, and again, what most of our medical professionals are going to say, hey, we can't say for a fact this will happen. What we can say is we've seen the continued issues that have come with continuing to play contact football after someone has had this many concussions and this many issues. And again, can't guarantee you quality of life if you continue to play.
Come on now. And then, Sean, what's like crazier to me, because now I feel like they putting it on one more time as the last time type, because that's what it feel like. Because Tua come back, let's just knock on wood, because I don't want it to happen. I hope this man just, if he was to come back fully healthy, never another concussion again, but that's not the reality of fact. Say if he come back and have it again this year, then what's the conversation we're gonna have then? Oh, now let's retire because of one more. One more it's too late. One more be too late, and the people not understanding this. And I'm looking at it as a human being. Like, forget the game. Football is just a game, and that's what people got to start realizing. All professional athletes, what you doing is a game. It's just us as Americans or us as people love watching it. So we are paying you to play it because we're entertained by it, because a lot of people watch it. But at the end of the day, if I can go outside and do, your job is not a life or death type of job. We don't need Tua as the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. The world is not going to end if Tua is not the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. We're not going to run out of food, water supply if Tua is not the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. If we have a shortage of doctors or stuff like that, police officers, firefighters, that's a real life or type do or die situation type of job. Football is just a game, brother. Let it go. It's okay. You tried. You did it what a lot of people couldn't do. You was a starter at the high level. Health took you away. And this, we talk about CTE in your brain. You cannot function without your brain, brother. If people make jokes, and I hate it sometimes, but he does it to himself. Antonio Brown, when he do the CT ESPN joke and stuff, but people have argued and showed facts that he has not been the same since that concussion when he took that big hit. You can look at how he talked, his manner, his attitude. He didn't seem the same to after that hit. Things can happen like that, bro. Let it. And I don't want to take nothing away from it. Just let it go. But Sean, I want to prolong on this, and I hate that our next subject of the matter of the segment of the show is next after this because it's just serious and what we're talking about. Injury bug of the week. I feel down if you talk about the injury bug of the week, but who you got for your injury bug of the week for you, Sean?
Malik Neighbors got a concussion last week, is out this week at Seattle. So Malik Neighbors is my injury bug of the week.
For me, Sean, I'm gonna go a little unorthodox today with my injury bugs of the week. Anybody on my NFL fantasy team, because I have like 4 people injured. Bad enough, I got a random ass team because grandpa want to be tired. That's what happens when you start hitting the 30s and you don't take your nap during the middays. You end up going to sleep. But yeah, so anybody on my fantasy team, and I can tell you right now who all hurt on my fantasy team. We got Shakura of the Buffalo Ravens. We got Buffalo Bills. We got White of the Las Vegas Raiders. We got Mixon of the Texans, who is hurt on my team. And I think Amari Cooper is good now. He was just questionable a second ago. Tyler Lockett was questioned a second ago, but I guess he's healthy. So yeah, anybody on my fantasy team?
Yes. Go Chainz. Michael Parsons has a high ankle sprain, so he's out this week, as well as DeMarcus Lawrence. He's out for the next few weeks for Dallas as well.
Yep.
So
Michael Parsons is out as well. Sean, let's go to the hardwood real quick. We got a couple NBA stories to talk about, and we got a couple boxing stories in here today too. First, Spike Lee, Jack Nicholson, and more NBA superfans to be inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Sean, let me go first on this, but I got strong about this. See, this is the problem that I have with the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's already the easiest Hall of Fame to get in. So that's why when everybody get mad at me talking about some SB, why you think Derrick Rose should be in, because everybody's in. This is more fuel to my fire. Why is we putting fans in the Hall of Fame? Like, it don't need to be no fan. You can make a whole different Hall of Fame. Fan Hall of Fame, all-time fan Hall of Fame. Why is we inducting fans in the best? I think it's stupid. It's dumb. Shout out Spike Lee. I feel like this is just a clickbait, clout chasing situation because nobody in any plus years say, hey, you know what? Spike Lee bees at every game. Let's go ahead and put Spike Lee in there. Jack Nicholson, let's make him a Hall of Famer. No, that's what I feel like. Whatever team that you are a super fan of, that should induct you into the team Hall of Fame, or the team should honor you. Just in basketball in general, no. So let me guess, Sean, you're going to get Spike Lee, Jack Nicholson. I know people didn't think about it like, bro, it's Spike Lee and Jack Nicholson. Very, very famous. Did they thing. So we're gonna put Clipper Darrell in too, because he's a super fan of the Clippers. You see him with that blue and red suit on the sideline all the time. So Clipper Darrell gonna be put in, or it hit different because Clipper Darrell ain't Jack Nicholson and Spike Lee, right? Like, come on, man, we gotta stop this. No, we should not put super fans in the Hall of Fame. It's no reason to do it. How you feel about this, Sean?
So just to be clear, like, they don't get to get up and make speeches or anything like that. This is basically this is basically the James F. Goldstein Superfan Gallery, which is at the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, is adding these 4 people to the gallery. So Billy Crystal, Billy Crystal, actor, comedian, long-time Clippers fan, long-time Clippers season ticket holder, rooted for the Clippers even when the Clippers were terrible. He is.
How you get picked over Clipper Dale? Clipper Dale was there day one.
Well, I mean, again. So you got to recognize why I think these people are considered super fans. And again, this is not against it. These were people who were celebrities who, because of their celebrity and being fans, brought visibility to the game. I think there's a difference in that versus the person like Fireman Ed for the New York Jets, who became a celebrity because he was a crazed Jets fan. That's a whole different animal. So, and again, you think about it, SB, just and again, this is where you have to give some credit to the people like Jerry Buss, the Jerry Busses of the world, who understood the value of having celebrities at games, and not just at games, but in spots at the games where they were very visible, right? Yeah. That was a big part of growing the NBA, particularly in the early 80s, when the NBA obviously had gone through a down drought in the 70s. And so I think this is what this is saying is, yes, we recognize that you don't have to be here. You don't have to pay the amount of money it costs to have these courtside seats and to be at every game, but you're here and you've helped bring greater visibility and greater attention to our league. So that's really what this is about, as far as I'm concerned.
Look, I agree with Tiffany. So that's the case. I need to be in the Hall of Fame next year. But that's my problem, though, Sean, because what you said, like, they acknowledging these guys because of the celebrity. So it's not about being a super fan. It's about being the most famous fan. So that's not fair to the people who are actual super fans who had to work their butt off 2 times as more to get these tickets to be becoming that much. But where a guy like Spike Lee or Jack Nicholson, who got more than enough money or probably got free tickets because of their celebrity name. No, if you're going to acknowledge the super fan, acknowledge the everyday working fan, not the clout chasing celebrity fan. So don't change it to super fan, change it to most famous fan of the team. I'm down. I'm a blue. They call it like the regular or everyday or the bland term, blue collar. I'm for the regular people. If you're gonna do this, salute to the regular people who does this. That's just all I'm saying. Sean, when your legacy gets big at a certain point, we got the Jordan, got the Kareems. I'll put Duncan in there now. Duncan is number 5 on my list. Kobe's. More like the Kobe Jordan type, where your popularity is just as good as your star ability, and you probably get little things and favors for you. So the Golden State Warriors, obviously Bronny James was picked 55th. The Golden State Warriors had the 52nd pick, and they wanted to take Bronny. But they said, out of the respect and wishes of what LeBron James wanted to play with his sons, they passed on taking Bronny. Do you think the Warriors? I got two questions. Do you think the Warriors was wrong for passing up what's best for the team to honor the wishes of LeBron James? And did LeBron James earn enough with the legacy of him and what he did for the game to get a favor like that and be like, you know what? It's LeBron. Let's go ahead. Let's throw him a ball because of what he did for the game of basketball. How you feeling about it?
Let me ask you a question, SB, just to answer your question. Did the San Diego Chargers pass on drafting Eli Manning out of respect for Archie Manning?
No.
No, they drafted him.
Yep.
They drafted him. Even though he specifically said, I don't want to go here. They drafted him. Again, I say this, and I just want to be honest about this. If a team thinks you're talented enough to help them win, they're going to draft you.
Yeah. That's true.
Your daddy could be Barack Obama. And if Barack Obama's a diehard Bulls fan, and Barack Obama says, hey, I want Barack Obama Jr. to go to the Bulls because that's my team, and another team says, hey, you know what? We think Barack Obama Jr. can help us win. We're drafting Barack Obama Jr. So, yeah, it looks nice. It sounds nice. Oh, yes, we did it out of respect for LeBron and blah, blah. Shut up. If you think a player can help you win and you're in the position to get that player, you're going to take that player.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
It's as simple as that. It's like, I mean, I didn't want to use this example. Never mind. I'm not even going to use that example.
I just quick on it. I think for the second part of my question, of course, LeBron earned it. You know, he did a lot for the game of basketball. They made a lot of money off that man name. So if you want to throw him a bone as a favor, I'm cool with the league doing it. But for you as a team, I want to call BS on the Warriors. Because, like you said, if a dude can help your team as much as that he could, you're going to draft him regardless. You ain't going to care about that. It's the second round. Stop that cap. I call cap on the Warriors. I just call cap. They just want to be in the news because they wanted to trade for LeBron. And they would just, you just pretty much saying if you traded for LeBron, you would have drafted Bronny too, like anybody else would, because you know how much money the Lakers finna make this year just off him and LeBron and Bronny being together business-wise. When you talk about on the court, business-wise, this is money. That's what we talk about. The Warriors to try to cap and make it seem like it was a basketball situation. Why they want to stop? You're lying. You're lying, Warriors. I'm calling now cap, 100% cap. You didn't pass up on no Bronny James because you thought Bronny James would for LeBron and he wasn't gonna be. He was best for your team, and we want to do this out of respect for LeBron. No, you did. It's the second round. Second rounds is pretty much like you trying to find a gem in what they call a needle in a haystack. That's the word I'm looking for. A second round pick is like a needle in a haystack. Jokic, a needle in a haystack. Well, he like a diamond needle in a haystack, honestly. But that's all it is. So you stop this cap with this is the second round pick. Imagine if we was in the lottery and they picked us in the lottery, I would respect what the Warriors said more because like, okay, Bronny James, a lottery pick. They was like 6. The Lakers are like 8, and they took him at 6, and he could have been potentially a top 10 pick. I would hear you. We talk about a second round pick. You 100% cap. 100% cap.
And also, teams draft guys all the time ahead of certain teams, knowing that team wants them. So if they have an opportunity to trade the rights to that player to that team to acquire again another player, a future pick, whatever it might be, that happens all the time. Like that is the nature of the beast. We've seen teams literally jump up ahead of teams to get guys, and that's in any draft just because they value that player so much, and these teams know that. So you know, the war. I mean, whatever.
Hey, speaking of another person capping, I'm gonna move this one up. Speaking of another person capping, we got 2 boxing stories real quick. Devin Haney. This imagine. I don't want no smoke with you, Devin Haney. You got professional hands. And I'm from Chicago. I'm a regular citizen, but I'm from Chicago. So you do with that information, you put 1 + 1 and 2 together. When you put that information together on that one. But I still believe that, like I said, I don't want no smoke with you, brother. But this has got to be the softest thing I've ever seen in my life as a boxer. Your job is professionally to throw hands and fight and attack each other. You know, he had a fight with him and Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia destroyed him, outboxed him, outclassed him, exposed his flaws. Ryan Garcia failed this test. He had steroids, whatever, illegal drugs, illegal substance in his body. Devin Haney fought that. He won that. Also, Garcia came overweight. He made a bet. He gave him money for him coming overweight. But also with him getting caught with illegal substance in his body, the undefeated record, the loss on his record that took away his undefeated record is gone. So he's still undefeated. Sean, why this man just a foul for a battery case, assault case against Ryan Garcia? I'm sorry, Sean. This got to be the most softest thing I ever seen in my life. Soft, trash, wet white, soft. I can't believe him. And at the end of the day, after all this, at first I would respect it. Like, you know what? Bro cheated, even though you didn't, you exposed your face to that hook the whole fight, and it's been a flow in your career for a long time, and then nobody exposed it, but you win against the one guy whose specialty punch is your weakness, and you leave it open, and you like, oh man, he had to cheat for me to lose. We ain't gonna talk about how many times he got hooked in the face and got knocked out, but it had to be the steroids. Whatever, cool. We accepted that, but now at this point, no, that loss count now. Because he beat you, bro, Sean, he beat this man so bad, he fouled for a bad.
Well, so just to be clear, so the loss was overturned. All right, so it's a no contest. So it does not count. So Devin Haney still has an undefeated record, right? And again, he knew Garcia didn't make weight. They agreed to fight, and they agreed to fight just to let the fight go on. And again, even if Garcia would have lost, if Haney would have lost, it would not have had an effect on Haney because the fight essentially didn't count because Garcia didn't make weight. And then again, post-fight, obviously, he tests positive for, I think it was Osterine. But, why is he doing this? Somewhere between Devin and Bill Haney is the only thing I can think of. Honestly, I wish I had a real logical answer here. I am without logic for this one. And again, my big thing is Devin Haney. It's been 6 months since your last fight, and you don't have a fight scheduled. Who's your next fight? That
you don't want to fight no more, Sean.
Then hang it up. If that's the case, you're 31-0. Obviously, but what's your next fight? Because again, as a boxing fan, and I know we have boxing fans who rock with us. Shout out Khalil. But at the end of the day, when's your next fight? Because if this is going to be, what the news is about for you, I don't care. When's your next fight? And if you're not going to fight again, are you going to formally hang it up and retire? And again, I don't see him doing that. But again, that remains to be seen.
And that's why I think these boxers nowadays be on social media sensitive. And, I clip up a lot of stuff we say. So that's the first thing I said with the clip. Like, I don't want no beef with you, brother. You got professional hands. But the fact of the matter is, for you to file a battery case, the assault case, whatever you want to call it, from you doing your job is to do that. It's crazy to me. It looks soft. It just exposed a lot of him. And that's why I said, Sean, I believe he's going to hang it up because now he lost the respect. He lost his confidence. I don't know how he can bounce back from this. Like you said, you got the loss off your record. It's a no contest. So you didn't lose. But what it is now in this era, Sean, I'm going to be honest, social media controls all because these people see what's going on in social media and people talking about them, people clipping it up, people making memes of you, which, imagine, I'm not in that much of that light because it could hit a little bit different once you win that fire. It could hurt different when people memeing you get knocked out, you on the ground, you get your face swole like you lost a match in Street Fighter 1. I understand that. But for you to file a case on it, it is like, yeah, you lost a lot of respect in the game. Speaking of another boxer, Terrence Crawford has rejected Conor McGregor offer of a crossover fight. So Terrence Crawford, Conor McGregor has been in talks about doing a fight. But Conor McGregor wanted Terrence Crawford to get in the octagon. And Terrence Crawford said, H to the hockey stick, no. He's not getting the octagon. He said, you're not finna elbow me and you're not finna be kicking me. What is your reaction to this? I say it is a very smart move by Terrence Crawford. And I got something to say about the MMA fighters, but I'm going to let you go first.
So real quick, Terrence Crawford's 37 years old. There's no value for him at this point in his career to get in an octagon with Conor McGregor. I think most of these guys know, and again, from a UFC guy perspective, if you want to fight a boxer, it's going to likely be in the boxing ring.
Yep.
Right? It's likely going to be in the boxing ring. It's going to be about those hands. Can you throw those hands? That's it. A boxer, someone who's been trained as a boxer, getting into mixed martial arts, that's a very long process. That's a very long process. Like, so I understand why Terrence Crawford rejected it. Again, my guess is Terrence Crawford may be looking for one last, maybe one or two last, big money fights before he officially hangs it up. honestly, I don't think he needs to fight anymore. He has nothing left to prove. He is proven he is pound for pound one of the best we've ever seen. So I don't think he needs to continue fighting. But again, if he can make 50 or $60 million fighting Conor McGregor, again, a la Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fighting, perhaps, but not in the octagon. It was never going to happen that way. And anybody with any sense knows it wasn't going to happen that way. And, and Conor McGregor knows it wasn't going to happen that way. It literally be like, somebody trying to get with this girl, and the girl knows you're a gamer, and she says, "Yeah, but you got to give up gaming if you're gonna be with me."
Oh, well,
then you ain't trying to do nothing. Yeah, you're not trying to do nothing. So so that's literally what Conor McGregor did. Is like, let me put in this stipulation that, oh yeah, if we're gonna fight, it's gonna be in the octagon, and no, it's not gonna be in the octagon. He knew that, and he knew that going in.
Yeah, no. For me, my question is for you, Sean, and I really want to understand this. Shout out to the boxers because they smart enough to understand. Say, hey, you know what? That octagon is not for me. I'm a boxer. I don't want to get kicked. I want to get hit in the elbows. I want to get body slammed. What is up with these MMA fighters? Would just try to just come in a boxing ring and fight boxers, and they get their head knocked off. And it's to the point where it's even so bad, but they get knocked out by even Jake Paul too, who's been boxing for a little bit, but not even like a long time. Like, y'all gotta stop. I get it. In a regular street fight, I take an MMA guy over anybody any day. But if you get in the ring and them legs are limited, them bows are limited, you just got those straight hands, you're gonna lose 95% of the time. It's no MMA fighter will beat him. I just see even Anderson Silva. Oh, got whooped by Jake Paul. What's the other guy? The Woodley. Magic got whooped by Jake Paul. Jake Paul started boxing late in his life. Like, I think he started boxing like mid-20s. Whatever. You getting whooped by this guy. You think a guy like Floyd, you think a guy like Bud, bro, Bud was going to work Conor McGregor. Probably knock him out by the third. Work him. It's going to be easy work. You MMA fighters got to chill with this. Stop it. I think it's idiotic. What you think?
I mean, I think, again, why they do it is money.
Yeah.
You don't make a lot of money in UFC. So, I mean, and that's the unfortunate nature of the business of UFC, which, again, that's another conversation. Don't want to get into that right now. But Dana White know what he does, and we're not even going to get into that.
Finessing the system.
So, well, he is the system, and that's why he can finesse it. So, I think, again, it's just about money, and again, and the chance to try to make a lot of money, from a fight that you will never make in UFC.
That's true.
So that's it. That's all it's about. It's just the money.
Yep. Sean, it is that time of the show because it's Friday. Also want to acknowledge the fact because of the Falcons getting the job done. SB, I won last week. So I'm up. What is it? Is it
3-1
right now? 3-1. We 3-1 right now. So we doing it. We changed the dynamic, y'all. We changed the dynamic. SB, we might get it. We might get it done, y'all. We might get it done. We might get it done, but we ain't gonna celebrate early. But Sean, it's that time of the show.
SB and Sean NFL picks of the week.
Yes, it's SB and Sean NFL picks of the week. Obviously, we're not gonna do Thursday game versus the Falcons versus Buccaneers. Obviously, we got how many key games we got this week? Was it three?
Three key games this week.
3 key games. All right, Sean. Let's do our regular games first. What you got for me?
First game, Carolina at Chicago.
I'm going to take the Bears on this one.
You're taking the Bears? I think it's going to be a very close game.
It is.
I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Andy Dalton has come in and helped stabilize that offense some. They've gotten the running game going the last couple games with Chuba Hubbard as well. And Chicago, again, really kind of up and down so far this season. I'm going to take the Bears at home, but I'm getting a little leery about the Bears, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Bears at home by 2.
I can agree with that. All right, what's the next on the list?
Next game, divisional matchup, Baltimore at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati been too up and down for me this year. I'm going to take Baltimore.
I'm taking the Ravens as well. Again, Cincinnati did get their first win last week against Carolina. It was not an easy game, but they did get their first win in Carolina last week. But I'm taking Baltimore. I just think Baltimore has, found something, obviously, figuring out how to get Derrick Henry more integrated into that offense. And I'm looking for Baltimore's defense to have one of those signature games, start to finish. I thought last week against Buffalo, they played really well on Sunday Night Football. They've, kind of found their mojo, that Ravens mojo that, when they started out 0-2, nobody in their right mind was worried about the Ravens, and they'll continue. So I got the Ravens as well. I'm taking the Ravens by 7.
What's next?
Next game might be the ugliest game of the week. Miami at New England.
See, this is a tough one to call because the Dolphins no Tua, so it's like I don't know what this team can do, bro. I'm going to Patriots. I'm sorry, I can't trust the Dolphins right now. I'm gonna go Patriots. Might be a 3-6 game, but I got the Patriots.
Yeah, I thought Mike McDaniel was supposed to be a coach. He's supposed to be a coach. Tua went down. Figure it out. Figure it out. He's supposed to be a coach. Figure it out. That's your job.
Sean, you don't remember. I don't know if you remember what episode. I wish I remember what episode because I need to figure it out, and I want to clip this. You literally brought up the theory because this was when Tua got paid. I got to look around town when Tua got paid. You literally brought up the theory. You said it's weird how Tua contract matches up with McDaniel's contract, and they are tied together. So one go, the other one gone. And I'm starting to see why you said what you said because it don't look. I thought he was an offensive guru. Imagine. I get it because you need a quarterback, but he was doing like run plays, different motions, and going crazy. Like I don't see it no more. And so Tua without Tua, he don't hit the same, man. Without Tua, he don't hit the same.
Yeah, and again, logic. Figure it out.
I agree. You got to figure it out.
Figure it out. That's your job. Figure it out. That's it. I'm taking the Patriots by 3.
I agree with you on that.
Next game, Cleveland at Washington.
The Commanders is hot right now, and the Browns are 50-50. I'm going to ride with the young gun. I'm going to go to Commanders.
You know, Commanders. I really want to pick Cleveland in this game. Just
I wanted to too.
They need a get right game, but
is Nick Chubb back yet?
No, he's practicing. So he should be back in a couple weeks.
When Nick Chubb come back, I'll start picking the Browns. Until the end, I ain't picking them.
Yeah, I'm taking Washington as well. Again, I think Cleveland's got a chance to move the ball against against the Washington defense some. I think Cleveland's defense has played really well. Cleveland's problem, as I've watched some of their film, SB, they really depend a little too much on the big play. And also, they can't seem to get out of their way. Whenever they have something good happen, it's usually called back by a penalty. And again, they can't get Nick Chubb back fast enough. So I'm taking the Commies by 3.
Hey, Sean, I'm just 2 more losses in a row. It was like I called it out before anybody else y'all watching the show. It's what? October 4th, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. If the Cleveland Browns don't get it right within like the next 2 games, be prepared to hit Deshaun Watson as the worst contract ever in NFL history. Just so they can push the agenda and never do fully guaranteed contracts.
And the crazy part is he's actually played well in these games. It's just
they're gonna push the agenda so they don't get fully guaranteed contracts. I know what they on. I know the agenda. But go ahead. What's next?
Next game, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. No Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richardson is questionable. Who
I'm
you
taking
got?
the Jags.
You taking the Jags?
Mm-hmm.
Think the Jags get their first win?
Mm-hmm. It's a gimme game. They'll win this one. It's going to be ugly.
I'm taking Jacksonville as well. I think Jaguars win their first game at home. Time for them to get right, and I think I'm gonna take Jacksonville by 4.
Yeah, we got to disagree at some point now.
It's coming. Don't worry about it. Next game, another divisional matchup, late afternoon matchup. Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos.
This is kind of a tough call. Y'all see how I try to force Sean into a bag pick. That's how I always get them. That's how I've been getting them recently. Ooh, this game is more tougher than what I think. I will, me as my honest man, as a division rival of this team, as a Charger fan, I want this game to end as a tie, or both of them can get an L. That would be perfect for me. It feels disgusting even voting on this game. I truly don't know, Sean. Oh man, with possibly no Crosby, no Adams, or Crosby might be out because he didn't practice. I'm gonna take the Broncos, even though Bo Nix played terrible last game, and I'm only taking Bo Nix because he's my fantasy quarterback, so I want him to do good. But I do got Gardner Minshew too, which is crazy too. I don't know which one. Who should I start? Should I Gardner Minshew or Bo Nix?
Gardner Minshew is completing 70.7% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's played Gardner Minshew football. He's played solid in moments. He has some, highlight moments against Baltimore. I'm taking the Raiders in this one, in a close one. I'm gonna take the Raiders. I'm gonna take the Raiders by 2 in this one.
Okay, that's our first different pick, and I know Broncos gonna steal me.
Next game, Arizona at San Francisco. Which Arizona team will show up? Nobody seems to know.
So, that question being said, I'm taking the 49ers because they too inconsistent. And it's October, Sean. I told you, I'm not picking them in October. Duty is coming. Is Call of Duty coming, brother?
These games actually turn out to be really competitive more often than not, but I'm gonna take the Niners in a close. I'm gonna take the Niners by 4.
I don't think Kyler Murray trying to do now to save his job, because ever since they complained that he did get Marvin Harrison the ball, as Marvin Harrison had a touchdown in every game since then. So what he gonna do to keep faith is that he gonna give Marvin Harrison that ball for a touchdown, so I can't complain.
Next game, Green Bay at LA Rams. Green Bay will be without Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs.
Enjoy a little back because this consistently Rams still dealing with injury bugs. I'm gonna take Packers.
I'm taking Green Bay as well. I know it was a pretty interesting game for Jordan Love last week. Leave the Brett Favre jersey at home. Please leave the Favre jersey at home. But I think the Rams are just way too beat up, and so I'm taking the Packers by 9. Next game, New York Giants at Seattle Seahawks. As we mentioned earlier, no Malik Neighbors for the Giants.
We ain't got to last long on this. Just give me the Seahawks and we can move on.
Yeah, Seahawks defense sold on Monday night. They need a rebound game.
This is the Robin-like rebound type game.
And the Seahawks really need to go ahead and put this game away early because they'll be on Thursday Night Football this week hosting the 49ers. So I'm going to take the Seahawks by 10. Next game, Monday night game, New Orleans at Kansas City.
I know you're picking the Saints, so I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
Yeah,
we talk about the Falcons earlier, Mingo. They're gonna be solid. Mingo, he said the Falcons are 3-2. What do you guys think their record will be at the end of the season? They're gonna be a playoff team or a wild card. I can't get the exact number, but yeah, I'm picking the Chiefs though.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints by 1. Now I reserve to change that Monday night before we, when we do our podcast Monday night. But I'm taking the Saints by 1. Okay. All right, and now we have our 3 key matchups.
Matchups of the week. Let's go. Key matchups of the week. So wait, what? We only picked 2 different games or 3 so far?
We picked 2.
2. Okay, the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Saints. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got
all right. Game. First key matchup. London game, early game, Sunday game. New York Jets at the Minnesota Vikings in London.
Ooh, this game is gonna be a little more crucial for me because I feel like the Vikings are hot right now. But the main reason why they're hot is that their defense is so like impenetrable. Like their defense is like crazy. Brian Flores got the defense going. They stopping the run, they stopping the pass, they shutting everybody down, and then they making Sam Darnold's job so easy that people think Sam Darnold belongs in the MVP conversation. How good he's been playing. With the Jets, they still trying to figure it out. They still got questions with protecting Rodgers to the line, but how good that this Vikings defense is, I'm gonna keep with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are gonna go 5-0.
You got the Vikings going 5-0. I'll tell you this: the last time they matched up, DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner actually did a really good job against Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to do some of the same. A really good job against Justin Jefferson. That said, that Minnesota defense is legit under Brian Flores, and I'm taking the Vikings by 4.
As well, yep.
Next game, next key matchup. Early game, 1:00 game. Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Buffalo will be without 3 starters, including Khalil Shakir.
He was going crazy on my fantasy. My MVP pick. I'm not gonna go against my MVP pick at all. So I'm taking CJ Stroud in the Texans. I always pick the Texans every time. So I pick them Bills. Pick your MVP, Sean. Pick your MVP, Sean. MVP versus MVP. Right? Yeah. MVP picks.
No. I'm not taking the Bills in this one. I think the injuries are a concern. Obviously, coming off of a beat down on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens, and then going on the road and playing Houston. I think Houston wins this game, and I got the Texans by 3. No Joe Mixon for the Texans, but I think the Texans will run the ball well enough to keep that Buffalo defense honest. So I'm gonna take Houston by 3. Then our last key matchup, Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm 50-50 on this, Sean. You go first on this. So I'm 50-50 on this one.
This is not even 50-50 for me. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cowboys have some serious injuries, particularly on the defensive side. I don't know, and I don't know if Dallas will run the football against that Pittsburgh front at all. They not. Which means it's going to be Dak. It's going to have to be super Dak for them to have a chance to win the game. And I think you're going to see the continued emergence of Justin Fields in this offense as well. Not just with his arm, but also with his legs. So I'm taking Pittsburgh at home, and Pittsburgh's coming off a tough loss in Indianapolis last week. They're gonna a game they probably thought they were going to win. They get back on track. I'm taking the Steelers at home by 7.
I'm 50-50 on this one because I think, obviously, the Steelers defense is going to shut the game down. But also, even though the Cowboys defense missing pieces, can I trust the Steelers offense to score? I don't know. We picked 3 different games so far, right? The Chiefs and the Saints, the Raiders and the Buccaneers, and what's the other game we picked different?
That's it. Just the
Chiefs and the Saints and the Raiders and the Buccaneers?
No, the Chiefs and the Saints and the Raiders and the Broncos.
I'm sorry, yeah. Because then we end up on a tie if they either go 1-1. So I'll make it because I'm 50-50 on that. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I'm gonna trust the Cowboys to get the job done.
Said nobody ever.
I know, right? Says nobody ever. Watch the Cowboys gonna get this dub. They're gonna win the fucking week. We're gonna be 4-1. This a week to take a risk because even if I lose, I'm still gonna be up 3-2. So this is the week to take a risk, and I'm gonna take it.
This is going to be a very, very tough part of the schedule for the Cowboys. They've got to steal some wins in these next 6 or 7 weeks. They need to try to steal some of these games because again, their schedule gets very, very tough over the next several weeks. So I agree. They need to win it, but they ain't.
I hope they do. But Sean, that has been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Episode 6. Who do you got for number 6? I got mine. It's this one kind of easy.
Well, I got 2 for me. Number 6. You see what I'm wearing? Yankee gear. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, number 6 for the Yankees, the great Joe Torre, manager. I'm going with the manager. And also, the other number 6 I have to go with is, the best version of LeBron we've ever seen was number 6 in Miami. Debate your mama if you don't agree, because he played defense too, as well as at a high level, as well as offensively. So, number 6, LeBron in Miami.
I was definitely going to go with the great, King James LeBron. But I figured you was gonna pick him, so I had to double shout out. One, shout out to Miss 11 Ring himself, Bill Russell. The jersey is retired everywhere. But also, shout out to the doctor, man, Mr. Julius Erving himself. You got to get Julius Erving some love, man. Shout out Julius Erving. Got to get Julius Erving some love. That's my number 6. Thank you guys for watching Real Takes Over Fake Debates. This has been another great episode. SB, Sean Webb. We will see you guys.
SB.
Yes.
SB, real quick. If you're not following Real Takes Over Fake Debates on all the podcast platforms, please. You want to drop the audio? You want to drop the audio for him, SB?
Yes. Let's drop it up. Drop the audio for him.
Real Takes Over Fake Debates has invaded the audio podcast world. Add Real Takes Over Fake Debates on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and iHeartMedia. Leave a 5-star review and comment below. New episodes every Monday and Friday.
There you go. Listen to the lady right there. She told you every Monday and Friday. We on Apple. We on Spotify. Everywhere. Anywhere the audio platform, follow us on there. And also, if you listen on the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube too. And the people on the audio, come to the YouTube, subscribe. The people on the YouTube, go to the audio platform. Support your boys everywhere. Real Takes Over Fake Debates, or look up SB Talk Sports, or look up SMW34. That's all our stuff. All our stuff support. And we appreciate everybody who have been supporting us. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep getting bigger every day. So see you guys on Monday. And we are out of here.
Real Takes Over Fake Debates.
Rucker Man.